Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Jonesboro. I'm Bill Campbell, and we're here today with City Engineer Craig Light and Habitat for Humanity Executive Director Micheal Sullivan. Our first guest this week on Let's Talk Jonesboro is Micheal Sullivan. He's the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity in Jonesboro. And welcome, Micheal.
Thank you for having me today.
Can you tell us a little bit about your role with Habitat and exactly what Habitat does?
Sure. Well, as the Executive Director, I run the operations and oversee our build sites and basically lead the organization to able to serve more families in Jonesboro through home ownership. And what Habitat for Humanity does is, we're a Christian-based organization that works to end poverty housing throughout the world. We're actually an international organization based out of Atlanta, and we serve in over 70 countries worldwide, and we have over 1,400 affiliates in the United States. And we're one of those affiliates that operate independently that serve our local community through home ownership.
Very nice. What are some of your more important projects and missions at this point?
Sure. Well, right now we are working to complete our 18th home, and so a great need in Jonesboro is affordable home ownership. And so we're one of the only nonprofits in town that works alongside families who can't qualify for conventional mortgages, who always had that dream of home ownership but never had the means to do it. And so we provide that opportunity to those families and to break that cycle of, well, I can't own a home because my family before me has always rented, or it's just not something that we've ever done or felt confident we can do. Well, we provide that hope and that confidence to families, and we teach them how to be homeowners, and once they qualify for our program, and we provide that home ownership opportunity through these homes that we built through volunteers. So.
But they're invested in the process, is that right? That you don't just, it's not like you spring a home on somebody and say, here you go, we'll see you later.
Exactly. And one of the biggest misconceptions that Habitat has is that we give out free homes. And we really want to break that, because these are not free homes by no means. Families who qualify for our program have to do sweat equity hours, and those can range from $250 and up based on how big the family is. And that's actually when they volunteer on their house and help build. They do a number of homeownership courses that teach them how to be a good homeowner. And so whether that's home maintenance or how to keep up the day-to-day for a house and just different things, we teach them how to be financially responsible in order to make their monthly payments, and because there is a mortgage just like everyone else has, except we provide a 0% interest mortgage, and so that's the affordability there. And we also look at their income, and so we don't exceed 29% of their monthly income for these houses. Typically a mortgage ranges between $250 to $400 a month for these families, and so we truly provide an opportunity like no other for these families.
It's nice. It's nice. How many people has Habitat served?
As an international organization, we've served 6.8 million through some type of living or housing condition. Wow. Here in Jonesboro, we've served 17 families so far.
Very nice. And these houses are all over town? Or are they in special neighborhoods, or are they?
Yeah, we can build anywhere in Jonesboro. Currently, we focus our efforts in North Jonesboro and the West End. North Jonesboro is the lowest income population, and so they have the most need. And so most of the houses are there, but we can build anywhere in Jonesboro.
I see. How does a family qualify for a home? How do you know if you can ask Habitat to help you?
Sure. Well, first off, we look at three things, and we have a homeowner selection committee that actually works with goes through the applications and selects a family. But there is an application process, and there's a criteria list that they have to meet. And so families who are don't own their own home, or if they do own their home and it's in substandard condition, so there has to be some type of need there, and a desire to own a house. Secondly, they have to have the willingness to partner, and that's where the sweat equity comes in. They have to be willing to volunteer those hours and also take our homeownership courses. And lastly, the ability to pay, because like I said, these are not free homes, and so these families have to have some type of income coming in to where they can make an affordable house payment each month. to Habitat, and that money we turn around and put back into another Habitat home. And so it's a continuing cycle, to serve another family once they're into a home.
So how are the houses made? What process do you go through?
Sure. Well, based on the family that we select or the house that's either donated to us, because we have done rehabs before, we select families based on that, and then we look at the number of rooms that family would need, and we can do new construction or we can do rehab, and that's all done by volunteers. And so we have our skilled volunteers who know what they're doing. They're either retired contractors or current contractors who come out and lead unskilled volunteers. And that's kind of a neat way that Habitat operates, is that we don't just serve families directly. We educate on our volunteers that come out, and we have a number of volunteers throughout the year come out and work. And it gives our lead builders a chance to teach them who are unskilled at construction, how to safely use power tools, or how to hang siding, how to correctly paint a wall. And so it's a really neat opportunity to teach them, and it's truly a full circle program. Yeah.
That's good. Can you tell us a little about some of the current projects that you're working on?
Sure. So we're finishing up our 18th house now, and that'll be done by the summer, and it'll serve a family of 3. And then we're actually starting our next project, our 19th home, which is a rehab house next to the Market Society. And it's really cool. We've actually partnered with the Jonesboro Public School District, and they committed 3 different things. And one of the things is student-led fundraising. Their goal was to raise, as a district, $10,000. Well, they're now at $22,000, and so they're doing an outstanding job to the project. The campus chapter at the high school, which is a Habitat, it's part of Habitat. It's done by students, and they wrote a grant through State Farm, and that's a $5,000 grant. So now the district itself has raised $27,000 for this house, which is an outstanding number. They've also let Habitat go into these classrooms and through our campus chapter and the teacher cadets at the high school, and teach about affordable housing and the need for home ownership, to the elementary students, and also the importance of just giving back to the community. So we're educating these younger minds and planting that seed early that, hey, when I get older or now, what can I do to help our community? And so that's really neat that they're letting us do that. And finally, the students are able to come out and volunteer on our projects when we start the rehab of this house. And so we're very thankful for the Jonesboro Public School District doing this, and we're excited to get that project started hopefully as soon as possible.
Very good.
Yeah.
When people volunteer, what can they expect? Do you need people? I mean, obviously, you have to have somebody who has some sort of skills, but say I want to volunteer and I barely know how to hammer a nail.
Sure.
How do you have a place for me, and what do I expect?
Of course. Yeah, as long as you have the will to come and volunteer, we look, whether you're skilled or not skilled. I mean, we have our lead builders who know what they're doing on our build sites that will be able to teach you and work alongside you throughout that build day to educate you on what to do. And we'll go back and make sure you're doing it right, or we'll correct what you're doing wrong. And we, the goal is to make sure that you're in a safe environment to, do whatever projects is done, because we do have deadlines to meet, and these houses have to get done. And so we want to make sure the volunteers do it right, and just like any other house. And so we'll work with you on that, and whether you're skilled or unskilled. Now, if you are skilled, then we want you to reach out to us, because we need more skilled builders who can come out and actually help us teach our volunteers, and that's something we definitely need right now.
If a family is building a home and I'm volunteering, how much time can I anticipate needing to donate, and how long of a period is it from ground to the key ceremony?
Okay, so if you're a qualifying family, based on your family size, right off the bat, we require you to do 250 sweat equity hours. And then based on the number of individuals in your family, we'll add 25 hours onto that. And those are 14 or older, we'll get the 25 hours, because that's our cutoff for as far as a volunteer's criteria to be on a build site is 14. And then once it's started, typically a year to year and a half right now. We are all volunteer basis except me right now, and so it takes some time when you're building only one Saturday a week to build a home, and so about a year and a half currently. Okay,
so if you're building on one Saturday each a week, do people show up at crack of dawn and work till the sun goes down, or how does that work?
Yeah, right now we build from 8 till noon, and we're working towards getting more build days because that's definitely a need. We have our lead builders, and they're usually free on Saturdays, but we want to be able to hire a construction manager to do more build days throughout the week, and then offer a full day build day on Saturday, and to build to continue and grow our building process and stuff.
How many volunteers do you have right now in Jonesboro?
We have hundreds. I mean, it's really hard to count the number of volunteers we have because we see new faces every Saturday. We have 2 campus chapters, one at the Jonesboro High School and one at the Arkansas State University, and they bring a lot of youth to our build days. A number of churches, businesses bring their volunteers out, and so there's just really hundreds of volunteers throughout a year.
So people feel a reward in being able to give and do this work, and even if they only show up one time,
Yeah.
it's good for them and it's good for Habitat.
Definitely, and one of the neat things is that the homeowner selected is typically at the home building because they have to get their hours in. So seeing the volunteers and them work together, it gives that volunteer a set of, oh, this is who I'm actually serving. It puts a face with that nail they're hammering in or that paint they're putting on the wall.
And so everybody has a good feeling when it's done, and
Yes,
or they know that they've accomplished something at the very least, I would assume.
definitely. Yeah.
And you need donors too, I would imagine, because you probably have to work hard. Is that a key part of your process to find donors? How much of that is your job?
Yeah, right now I currently write the grants for the organization, so doing that, meeting with community leaders in order to bring in donations, doing other events, helping coordinate fundraisers with our development committee. But yeah, it's definitely a key part of the position as the executive directors to help raise the funds and set the tone of the organization throughout the community to make sure that we not only receive the volunteers that are needed to complete the projects, but the money as well. And so, yeah.
So when you finish a home, can you think back to one of your projects with a family, and how grateful are they, and how much does it mean to them? Can you see, do you have that rewarding feeling when you see them?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's truly you put so much work into a home, and you get the volunteers to come in, and the families are working alongside the volunteers, and they're getting that interaction. That truly pride is there. And so when the family finally gets that during the key ceremony, we have the family receives their keys for the first time to their home. It's truly a rewarding event to actually see all the work and labor that you put into it. This is what you get out of it, and it truly transforms the lives of these families that we serve, because it gives their children a better opportunity. That gives them pride, gives them better financial stability, and opportunities that they typically wouldn't have, living in a substandard condition. And so being able to pull them out of that and onto a better path is a truly rewarding feeling.
So how do people find Habitat? If I want to volunteer, if I want to be a donor, how do I find you?
Sure. Well, the easiest way is our website at jonesborohabitat.com. There you can find volunteer opportunities. You can find our homeownership application, which is open until May 13th. And you can find more information just about us in general, what we do in Jonesboro, our current projects, what's coming up, when our fundraisers are, things like that. We also have a headquarters in Jonesboro, so people can feel free to stop by at any time at 520 West Monroe. And yeah.
520 West Monroe Street is that downtown Jonesboro?
It is downtown, yes, sir.
All right, very good. Well, Michael, thank you for being with us. We've enjoyed having you to Let's Talk Jonesboro.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
All right. Our next guest is City Engineer Craig Light, and our city engineering staff is one of the most critical group of people serving the city, and it's easy to take them for granted. I know I do, or have through the years, and but as I watch these people work and have learned what they do, it's really compelling to watch all the components that go into making your navigation around the city run smoothly. I think when you watch these men and women work, you really understand just what an accomplishment it is to make a city run smoothly. So welcome, Craig, and if you would tell us a little bit about your role as a city engineer and what kind of projects you guys undertake. I think that would be a good starting place.
All right, thank you, Bill. The City Engineering Department, our primary goals are to work on transportation and drainage systems in the city. Those are our two primary things. We also help out the other departments with technical projects. We help out Parks Department and Police Department on occasion with traffic and making improvements to areas that are accident prone. So we try to help out the other departments, facilities in the city. But again, our primary objective is transportation and drainage improvements and maintenance and operations within the city.
So, and when you talk about working with other departments, even when you're working with your own department, everything about what you guys do is logistical. We have to work with this department to make sure it's okay to do this next step that we're going to do. We have to make sure every detail is taken care of, because things can go wrong so easily, I would assume.
They can. So we have to coordinate traffic control on projects and work with the other departments.
One of the latest projects that's been taking place is on Red Wolf Boulevard. Now, depending on what time you're watching this show, you are either having to navigate Red Wolf Boulevard, or the work's all done. So, Craig, can you tell us a little bit about what's taking place on Red Wolf?
What we've done on Red Wolf is we've added a turn lane that goes into the ASU campus to help alleviate some of the backup of traffic during game days or when there's events at the university. We were getting a lot of spillover into the through lanes, so we've extended a turn bay to allow more stacking in there to get the vehicles out of the through lanes. We're also adding a decel lane going southbound to get traffic out of the through lanes to keep traffic moving during those event times.
So basically, it at times could be a little bit dangerous if you had cars stopped in one lane or maybe two lanes sometimes.
Yeah. Well, what was happening is they spill over into the through lane because the turn bay was too short. The
turn bay was too short. So you've extended that bay on the northbound lane.
Yes. And
how many cars now would be able to fit in that turn lane?
We've extended it to a little over 400 feet, so you can get several cars in there. I'm not sure exactly the number, but
a few dozen maybe.
Yeah, it would be quite a few. At least twice as many as what was being able to stack in there.
Now, if you're coming southbound on that, you're also widening in a deceleration lane.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes.
So that's going to give more opportunity to get over and slow down and get out of the way of through traffic on that street.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That will be good for I guess football season's coming up. And
there's a lot of events at the university, and the convention center project that the ASU's moving forward with will be located in that same area. So it should help with any sort of events that they might have in the future as well.
Okay. Another project that's been long talked about is the extension of Parker Road. How are we doing on that?
It's under construction. The trees and right-of-way have been cleared. They'll start dirt work shortly, as soon as the things dry up. But it's moving along well.
What goes into bringing about, I know I've heard some of the discussions about all that's gone into the Parker extension, and I wonder if people really can conceive of all the details that have to go into that thing. Can you kind of take us through the process of saying, hey, we need an extension of Parker Road, and then making it a reality?
I can. The Parker Road project started out with a preliminary engineering study that showed that vehicles would be diverted from the Southwest Drive Parker Road interchange to the Washington interchange. So first we had to prove to the Highway Department and to the Federal Highway Administration that this project would result in a positive outcome, and that would be reducing traffic on Southwest Drive, which is a very congested corridor in the city. And so once that was shown and everybody agreed that this project was a feasible project, that it would give some relief to Southwest Drive, then we were able to move forward to start the design process. And the design process itself took 18 months to get a consultant hired, get the project designed, and everything approved to go forward with construction. Following that, we had to start with the right-of-way acquisition. We had to obtain 5 parcels of property to actually construct the project, and that in itself took 6 months to accomplish, to get the right-of-way acquired. So as soon as we got all that completed, then we were able to actually go forward with construction. So this has been probably a 3-year development to get this project to the point it is now.
And its goal is to relieve some of the congestion on Southwest Drive, and,
Yes.
and to, will people, you think they will be pleased with what they have when they get that done?
I think they will, as soon as people begin to realize that they can use Washington Avenue to get out of downtown and get to the south side of the city, southwest side of the city, to the Walmart area. I think that once they realize that they can do that, I believe more traffic will be diverted over there.
Southwest Drive is busy, and it's growing, I guess, continuing to grow, where some new businesses are coming in on that road. Is there talk about more projects, more road work along that corridor?
There are 2 projects on the State Transportation Improvement Plan along Southwest Drive. One of them would be at the Parker Road Southwest Drive intersection, and what they're looking at doing is adding a lane, additional northbound lane onto Southwest Drive that would drop off at the on-route or the on-ramp to I-555.
Okay.
So they would do some improvements there. There's also another project that would do improvements to the intersection of Highland Drive and Southwest Drive and Main Street to add 2 through lanes northbound at that intersection.
To add 2 through lanes?
Well, it would take it from 1 to 2.
I see.
Yeah.
So because we do have new businesses coming in at that intersection in the next year.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of construction on there, but the improvements are needed regardless of those developments.
Okay.
I mean,
That's good to know. What other type of projects are going on around town? Anything that would be of interest?
The construction on the Aggie Airport Road roundabout is still progressing. We've been delayed some by the winter weather, but my understanding is the contractor is going to be back on the job site soon and get that project underway again.
The roundabouts are a foreign concept to a lot of people here, and some people are intimidated by them, but studies have shown that they're really productive. So can you explain a little bit about why these are good for our motorists?
They're traditionally safer than a four-way intersection, a traditional four-way intersection, reduction in side impacts on vehicle accidents. They're actually more efficient on the less peak hour travel demands. At the Aggie Airport Road intersection, the intersection only meant the warrants for a traffic signal for 1 hour during the day. So the remaining 23 hours of the day, you would have a traffic signal there that was actually slowing down traffic rather than keeping vehicles moving. The roundabout is more of a free flow, that it's going to work well during the peak hour, but it's going to work much better during the off-peak hours than the four-way stop that's there now.
That's a great point. Most of us can relate to sitting at an intersection waiting for a light to change and knowing no one's
Yes.
coming from any direction. I guess another project, and we're going to show a little video of a recent meeting with more engineers, has been floodwater mitigation on the west side of Jonesboro. What's going on there?
We've been working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Memphis District for the last 4 years now developing a master drainage plan for the western side of the city of Jonesboro. That includes the Big Creek, Lost Creek, Christian Creek areas and their tributaries. And we had the final plan for that portion of the city presented to us at the Stormwater Management Board's last meeting. So we're glad to see that project finally to a final product that we can move forward and adopt as a master plan for the western side of the city.
Can you put in layman's terms what exactly the plan is going to do and how it's going to unfold?
Well, the first part of the plan, the first part of the study was to do some modeling of the existing drainage systems and update our maps, flood maps, to show the areas that are truly at risk of flooding. So that was the first step of the process. And once that portion was completed, we started looking at improvements that could be made to mitigate those flooding areas. And in short, the plan is to do some channel improvements and to add some regional detention ponds in certain areas to reduce the peak flows in the channel, and then to move that water safely to the city without flooding areas that we'd like to see redeveloped or that are currently developed that are flood prone.
And we learned that once again that there are areas that are flood prone in recent storms. And is this a project that's going to go to other parts of the city in the future?
Yes, the overall study with the Corps of Engineers is actually 4 parts, and we've just completed the first part, phase 1. Phase 2 of the project will be the Viney Slough and Higginbottom Creek and its tributaries. Phase 3 will be the Little Bay Ditch, Moore's Ditch, Butler's Ditch, more out on the eastern side of town, in the industrial park area. So that'll be phase 3. And then phase 4 will be a small area of the city that drains south into the Langell River, and it's in the Valley View area, and that'll be the 4th and final phase of the project. But we're trying to prepare a master plan for the entire city so we can start moving forward with some improvement projects to increase the capacity of our channels, store water where we need to, ultimately reduce flooding for the citizens of Jonesboro.
Very good. Well, Craig, thank you for taking time to visit with us.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week with another Let's Talk Jonesboro.